Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my next video. Hope you're all doing fine. And today we begin a new story. It's $1,000. Sounds good. $1,000, repeated lawyer Tolman solemnly, and severely. And here is the money. Young Gillian gave a decidedly amused laugh as he fingered the famed package of new $50 notes. It's such a confoundedly awkward amount, he explained, genially to the lawyer. If it had been 10,000, a fellow might wind up with a lot of fireworks and do himself credit. Even $50 would have been less trouble. He heard the reading of your uncle's will, continued lawyer Tolman, professionally dry in his tones. I do not know if you paid much attention to its details. I must remind you of one. You are required to render to us an account of the manner of expenditure of these $1,000 as soon as you have disposed of it. The will stipulates that. I trust that you will so far comply with the late Mr. Gillen's wishes. You may depend upon it, said the young man politely, in spite of the extra expense it will entail. I may have to engage a secretary. I was never good at accounts. Gillen went to his club. There he hunted out one whom he called Old Bryson. Old Bryson was calm and 40, and sequestered. He was in a corner reading a book, and when he saw Gillian approaching, he sighed, laid down his book, and took off his glasses. Old Bryson, wake up, said Gillian. I've a funny story to tell you. I wish you would tell it to someone in the billiard room, said Old Bryson. You know how I hate your stories. This is a better one than usual, said Gillian, rolling a cigarette. And I'm glad to tell it to you. It is too sad and funny to go with the rattling of billiard balls. I've just come from my late uncle's firm of legal corsairs. He leaves me an even $1,000, and he leaves me an even $1,000. Now, what can a man possibly do with this with $1,000? I thought, said Old Bryson, showing as much interest as a bee shows in a vinegar cruet, that the late Septimus Gillen was worth something like $500,000. He was assented Gillen joyously. And that's where the joke comes in. He has left his whole cargo of doubloons to a microbe. This is part of it goes to the man who invents a new bacillus and the rest to establish a hospital for doing away with it again. There are one or two trifling bequests on the side. The butler and the housekeeper get a seal ring at 10 each. His nephew gets 1,000. You always had plenty of money to spend, observed old Bryson. Tons, said Gillen. Uncle was the fairy godmother as far as an allowance was concerned. Any other heirs? Asked old Bryson. None. Gillen frowned at his cigarette and kicked the upholstered leather of a divan uneasily. There's a Miss Hayden, a ward of my uncle who lived in his house. She's a quiet thing, musical, the daughter of somebody who was unlucky enough to be his friend. I forget to say that she was in one of seal ring and $10 joke too. I wish I had been. Then I could have had 2 bottles of brut, tipped the waiter with the ring, and had the whole business off my hands. Don't be superior and insulting, old Bryson. Tell me what a fellow can do with $1,000. Old Bryson rubbed his glasses and smiled. And when old Bryson smiled, Gillen knew that he intended to be more offensive than ever. $1,000, he said, means much or little. One man may buy a happy home with it and laugh at Rockefeller. Another could send his wife south with it and save her life. $1,000 would buy pure milk for 100 babies during June, July, and August, and save 50 of their lives. You could count upon a half-hour's diversion with it at Faro, in one of the fortified art galleries. It would furnish an education to an ambitious boy. I am told that a genuine court was secured for that amount in an auction room yesterday. You could move to a New Hampshire town and live respectably 2 years on it. You could rent Madison Square Garden for one evening with it and lecture your audience, if you should have one, on the precariousness of the profession of their presumptive. People might like you, old Bryson, said Gillian, always unruffled. If you wouldn't moralize, I ask you to tell me what I could do with $1,000. You, said Bryson, with a gentle laugh. Why, Bobby Gillen, there's only one logical thing you can do. You can go buy Miss Lotta Larir a diamond patent with the money, and then take yourself off to Idaho and inflict your presence upon a ranch. I advise a sheep ranch, as I have a particular dislike for sheep. Thanks, said Gillen, rising. I thought I could depend upon you, old Bryson. You've hit on the very scheme. I wanted to check the money in a lump, for I've got to turn in an account for it, and I hate itemizing. Gillian phoned for a cab and said to the driver, "The stage entrance of the Columbine Theater." Miss Lotte Laurier was assisting Nature with a powder puff, almost ready for her call at the crowded matinee. With her dresser mentioned the name of Mr. Gillian. "Let it in," said Miss Laurier. "Now, what is it, Bobby? I'm going on in 2 minutes." "Rabbit foot, you right ear a little. Rabbit foot, you right ear a little," suggested Gillian critically. "That's better. It won't take 2 minutes for me. What do you say to a little thing in the pendant line? I can stand 3 chippers with a figure 1 in front of them. Or just as you say, caroled, Miss Laurier. My right glove, Adams. Say, Bobby, did you see that necklace Della Stacy had on the other night? $2,200 it cost at Tiffany's. But of course, pull my sash a little to the left, Adams." "Miss Laurier, for the opening chorus," cried the callboy without. Gillian strolled out to where his cab was waiting. "What would you do with $1,000 if you had it?" he asked the driver. Alright, guys. We're gonna finish for today and see you tomorrow on the next part. Thank you for joining. Bye.